Fellow Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster and esteemed guest. I'd like to talk about three things. The dream, and I'm going to define that for you a little bit. Threats to the dream, and how we can persevere in the face of those threats. First, I want to talk about the dream. We all come into life with dreams. Sometimes the dreams that our parents pass on to us. And then dreams that we acquire as we grow older. And then I want to talk about a third dream. And that's sort of the dream that we inherit. The dream that we inherit from our founders. The dream that comes with us as being an American citizen. The dream of being a patriot, part of this country. And I want to talk about it in a deeper sense than we usually think about it. You know, it's not the house on the White Hill or something like that, although that's part of it. But thinking back to what our founders really had in mind when they put together this country. And it was the idea to take the highest human ideals and then actually apply them into a lived reality. It was a radical notion. The historian Gordon Wood said, we created overnight the most liberal, the most democratic, and most commercially minded, most contemporary people on the planet. So that is our heritage. And I want us to keep that in mind, that we are the keepers of that dream. And what does it mean to be the keepers of that dream? It means that we hold something like the soul of the country. And when I talk about the soul of the country, what do I mean? I mean the qualities that transcend and capture the imagination of future generations. We need to bring forth the highest ideals that are out there today, just as they did in their day. Now let's look for a minute at what those highest ideals were. The first one I'm going to look at, I'm just going to look at three because there's so many, was the pursuit of happiness. I mean, that's a radical notion. That a government owes people the ability to have the pursuit of happiness. I mean, we're still struggling with that one. It seems to me health care is certainly necessary in order to have the pursuit of happiness. But that's still in debate. People were saying it's not in the Constitution. So we're still working on that one. The idea that all men are created equal, I mean, that one's we've been struggling with from the beginning. And we continue to struggle with it. The latest debacle over the immigrant situation. I mean, aren't we all immigrants, really? What kind of solution is it to think of pushing people out who have been here all their lives? And we're talking about, I mean, there's the equivalent of 5 states worth of Hispanics. There's no way we can push those people out. That's an untenable solution. The Arizona approach is corrupt and against the tenets of our country. What are the threats to the dream that I want to talk about? I think unregulated capitalism is a flawed system. We had it before, and we saw the Great Depression come out of it. FDR took on the bankers. We need to take on the bankers. This history repeats itself, especially for those who don't know it. It's very important to remember that cliche, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's the situation we're in. Corporate power has taken over so strongly that it's completely hijacked our political process. It now costs $7 million to have a winning race for Senate to join the Congress of the United States. What kind of deals do you think you have to make to get $7 million? I suggest to you, I submit to you the possibility that they're not the kind of deals that ought to be made. We ought to be electing people on the vibrancy of their ideas, not how many deals they can make with corporate sponsors. Right now, we have a country that is of the corporations, by the corporations, and for the corporations. And we have now a kind of collapse of these systems, as you can see all around you. And there is here an opportunity try something new. It's what people call a populist moment. And it's similar to what happened in the 30s. And there was a populist uprising where people said, this is enough. And they pushed FDR to initiate things that he wouldn't have initiated on his own. And that's exactly what I suggest that we all need to do today. It has to be a kind of unified response to the problems that we're facing. Because we have to honor this wonderful quality that we have of unity and diversity together. But we need to start with a dialogue about how to do that. And that takes me to the third part of my discussion, which is, what are some of the solutions out there? And I want to tell you about an interesting thing that's happening in Chapel Hill and Carberry. It's called the Transitions Movement. It's actually a movement that was started in England, and it's all over the world. And the movement is for communities to anticipate what happens after oil, after peak oil, and to start to create communities from the ground up that will answer the needs of becoming self-sufficient. And with that, you can start to create communities of care, where there are opportunities for people, where we become again the country that cares for its people, that beckons people to come to it and to thrive. And with that, I invite you to join the Transitions group. It's transitions.org. I think I'll bring it to you next week. I don't have the exact website. But I ask you to become involved, to become part of this populist moment, and to become a keeper of